tell you, I used to be one of those kind of people who said, I don't like cleaning the house, but actually now, I like it because I like the results that I get at the end. So enjoy that swivel sweeper. All right, we're moving on to fave number 9. And this one I've had an opportunity to present in the past, and I really like it. And I'll tell you, it's because it gives you light very simply, without an electricity bill, without having to, install some hard, expensive, intricate installation. Did you see what she just did right there and what he just did there? They just installed the light. There's an adhesive right there along the back. You can peel and you can put it up, and you've got a motion detected, super bright light that comes on every night, that you don't have to turn on and flip a switch. You don't have to, like I said, install with electricity or have an electricity bill. These are all solar powered because of this big solar panel that goes along the back of the light. All you do is decide where you want this to go. And they're indoor, outdoor, but really they're outdoor because you wanna make sure that the sun is charging up that light. And you peel off the adhesive, you stick it on, and you walk away. Now, if you did want a light that maybe you just feel comfortable, or depending on where it's gonna be, you really kind of want it to be, a little bit more solid on the wall or on the top of the door, or wherever you decide to put it, you can use a traditional, like a screw, to put that in, because there's also a little space for that as well. It's totally up to you. But what's great about these lights, and the reason that they're customer picks on hsn.com, is because these are EverBrite. These are super bright. They've got solar technology that charges a lithium ion battery that's built in here, so it charges them every single day, and then they shine for up to 12 hours every night. And it's all motion detected. So it's not like the light comes on just when the sun goes down. Like traditional lights are like that. They come on just when the sun goes down. But what's great about these motion detectable lights is that maybe you only want the light on when something's going on outside. Maybe you have these along your back area. Maybe it's, the backyard, or maybe it's the side yard, and you don't want the lights on all the time, but when somebody walks by, you want them to think that you're standing right there watching them. And that's what light can do. We all know that light, it gives you that sense of security. And that's what these do. You've got that long-lasting LED bulb. They're super bright internal with 600 mega amps of battery. Like I said, there's no need for wires or tools or electrician. They're motion detected. And the light, light can shine up to 12 hours every night. And that's what like I said, that's when there's motion detected. So these are gonna last you a long time. Now, we have these, and what you're seeing right here, this is that huge light, and you're seeing the LED lights right there. So when there is no light, again, this is the solar panel right here. When the sun goes down and that solar panel goes dark, that's when the light will brighten up, and you're getting 2 of them. If you need more than a set of 2, because you're gonna put these along the side of your house, and you want some in the front, so maybe when somebody walks up to the front door, you want the light to go on, because you want them, and like I said, light is security for you. It may make you feel comfortable, but it's also a deterrent for people who shouldn't be walking around your backyard at night. Or maybe it's for animals. Maybe you've got animals along your backyard. I know in our backyard, we've got a lot of deer. And, the deer come up and like to eat our plants. We go crazy trying to keep the deer away. When the light comes on, the light will startle the deer a little bit, even if it's enough to keep them away from eating our plants. I like the idea of having that motion detectable light so that when the animals walk by, the light will come on. When somebody's back there who shouldn't be, the light comes on. Maybe it's for you. When you come home, or when, maybe you've got you and your family members come in at different times, and instead of always leaving a light on, which means you're burning that electricity constantly, you can have your motion detectable lights come on so that when you drive up to the front of the house, or when you walk up to the front door, the light comes on to greet you. Now, you're getting a 2-pack. If you need more than 2,